Hey everybody, and welcome to my What I Read video for November and December. We skipped the month because I didn't get to read all that much in November, so I decided to lump it all up into one video. I read a lot of those Junji Ito books that I bought in the one of my other haul videos, and so I've read a decent amount of stuff. I've got a decent stack of manga here to talk about. Let's jump right into it, I guess. So to start off, I'm going to start with the digital manga. And so I've brought up the old Viz app right here, and so a few weeks ago I started One Piece, and I am at chapter 253. So yeah, I'm about, I'm like one-fourth of the way through the series so far, and it's safe to say I like it. It honestly, like, I'm on the Sky Island arc right now, and to be completely honest, I'm getting really bored with it. But the last couple of arcs were super good. Like, I just could not peel myself away, and I like binged read them, and that's why, even though it's only been about a month, I'm at chapter 253. It's because I couldn't stop reading it before. And so, while I'm not really a big fan of the Sky Island arc, which is where I'm at right now, I will definitely keep reading it, whether I like it or not. And I plan on finishing it and getting to chapter 1000 relatively soon. I was looking for, less than 200 days or so for reading all of it. We'll have to see if that's still possible. I don't actually know. And I also read the Death Note one-shot special. It was fine, I guess. I honestly, like, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't all that good either. It was literally like copy and paste Death Note content. If you don't like Death Note, you're not gonna like this one shot. If you like Death Note, this is gonna be fine. Very samey. I mean, it was worth reading, but yeah, I was kind of disappointed. I was kind of hoping that there'd be something more to it. You know what I mean? But it was just kind of the same, which is fine. All right, so now we're on Bookwalker, and I'm not able to zoom in, but I read the first 2 volumes of Futarabiya. It's a slice of life Yuri series, and it was pretty good. As far as like 4-panel slice of life series go, it was pretty decent. I usually tend to find those kind of boring, and this one was actually somewhat entertaining. It was cute. It was cute, fluffy. The Yuri content is really just a little bit of fan service, like baiting, like, ooh, what if something happened, and nothing actually does. That's the Yuri that's in Futarabiya. But I mean, it was fine. It was cute. It was fluffy, which is kind of what you're going into when you look at those covers. But you know what I mean. So moving on to the physical volumes, I read a whole bunch of Junji Ito stuff. So I'm gonna spitfire them real quick. I don't want to spend too long on them because this video is gonna be way too long if I do. But first off, I read Uzumaki. This was my first ever Junji Ito read, and I loved it. It was just awesome to me. The world was incredibly engaging. It really kept me on the edge of my seat. I didn't know what I was going to see next. Didn't know what was going to happen next. And it was actually kind of scary. Highly recommend it. It was very good. I'm really happy to keep this copy in my collection. And I plan on reading it again someday. It was very good. I totally see why it's a classic. And then next up, I read Gyo by Junji Ito. This one I didn't like as much. It was a bit weaker to me. I was kind of thinking, like, if I considered Uzumaki to be a 10 out of 10, this one is really only like a 7 out of 10 max. Honestly, I was disappointed in it. The horror aspects at first are good. Like the whole, like, the spiderfish coming out of the ocean. I actually genuinely thought that was kind of scary and interesting. Like, panels like this, I'm like, that gives me the creeps, Like, what the heck? I don't want to be on that beach, right? And then, the sharks and stuff are introduced, and it's pretty good. And I don't want to give away some spoilers or anything, but basically the longer this goes on, the sillier and kind of dumber it is. The point where it's almost just not scary anymore, and it just kind of becomes like a gore comedy, and I was kind of disappointed in this one. It had an extremely strong start by targeting some actual fears of the ocean. In general, it was pretty good. Like I said, I would give it a 7 out of 10, but I was disappointed with the direction that it went. It has some nice, mini stories at the end of this volume. Like, for instance, the ever so famous one with the holes that perfectly match people's bodies. This one's a classic. So, I mean, honestly, like, just owning this story in a physical format, that's fun, you know. So I'm gonna keep this copy, mostly just because of that, that story at the end. But yeah, 7 out of 10 in general. And then I read Fragments of Horror. I actually thought this was pretty good. Some of the stories are a bit weaker than others, but in general, this is a very well done anthology. Some of these stories actually kind of got to me and kind of scared me a bit, like this one. And then some of them were just kind of stupid, but still fun and interesting and worth reading. None of the stories in this one are like worth like skipping. Every single story in Fragments of Horror is worth reading. Some of them are weaker than others, yeah, but I was very happy with this one. And the next and final Junji Ito one I have read this month was Smashed. This is another anthology. It's a story collection. This one is a bit weaker, than Fragments of Horror, but none of the stories in this are skippable. They're all very good and well done. There's only a couple of stories in this one which really, like, interested me a whole lot, and, like, I continue to think about and stuff like that. But, it's still a very good book, and I would highly recommend it if you're into Junji Ito. Alright, so next up we have a couple of Watamote volumes. I like this series a lot. I got into this one because of a Gear Third talking about it constantly on Discord, and I'm not disappointed. I actually really liked it a lot. It's very funny. It's relatable sometimes. Other times it's beyond relatable, and it just kind of becomes like, oof, I'm better than that, and I hate myself type humor. So some people found it a little bit cringy and stuff, but I thought it was hilarious. The comedy in this is very well made. I laughed out loud multiple times while reading this series. The art, to some people, doesn't look that good. I think it's fine. Like, whatever, it's fine. You're grasping at straws if you think the art is bad. It's just, like, it's not super professional, but, like, I don't really care. The comedy is where it's at in this series. And then, in general, I would say this is an 8 out of 10, because of just how well made, how well written it is. The writing is phenomenal in this series. I had a great time reading it. I, 100% want to buy and read more of this. So next, I read some, Loveless. And, here's my bookmark. I didn't actually finish this omnibus yet. But I have finished the first 3 volumes. These are 2-in-1s. So yeah, I'm 3 volumes in. And this series is pretty good. This series isn't phenomenal or anything, but it's cute. Basically, it's kind of a BL/battle manga/slice of life mix. And it's decent. Like, if looking at these covers visually, if this looks like something you're interested in, I don't think you'll be disappointed. Is it, super awesome? Does it break any boundaries? No. But, if you want to read this, I wouldn't say you'll be disappointed in this one. The fighting is actually pretty good in this one, and the drama is alright. And there's it has introduced some new characters which are pretty interesting. So I'll definitely have to check out more of this. And right now, I mean, it's only like a 7 out of 10 or so in my head. But like I said, I'm 3 volumes into 13 volumes so far. I mean, there's 13 volumes out, and I'm on volume 3. I mean, that's a bit too early to, like, review it, but yeah, I think it's fine. Next up, we have volume 4 of Given. I like this series a lot. Given is my favorite BL. It's my most favorite BL ever. And I was not really disappointed in this volume. It's still 9 out of 10 all the time, sometimes 10 out of 10 content. Now, for those that don't know, Given is a banned manga with some BL romance on the side. And I don't really want to open this volume because there's some not safe for work content in this volume. But it's more of the same. This volume is the first volume that's been released that is all new content in comparison to what was in the anime. So there's nothing in this book that is in the anime. It's all fresh, starting with this one. So if you've watched the anime and you're thinking about getting the manga for Given, I would recommend starting at the beginning. It's worth reading from the beginning. I'm a huge fan of this. I mean, I like banned manga in general. So like, you know, I'll be a little bit biased and say start from the beginning even if you've seen the anime. But this new content, which is fresh to me since I've not seen the anime of this one yet. There's the movie, which I haven't seen yet, which covers this book. But I would recommend it. Alright, next up, I have Blendis Volume 2. I finished this the other day. It's pretty good. It's a cute slice of life series involving a maid cafe. You know, nothing crazy in this one. It's very basic and very, you know, run-of-the-mill, but it does that well. If you're looking into, like, a cute 4-panel, you're gonna get that here. You know, if you want something along the lines of Lucky Star, you're gonna get that here. Now, this series, for the longest time, it was in Japanese only. It recently got licensed by Sol Press. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's SOL Press. And, so if you want to pick it up in English, it'll be available eventually, presumably. But yeah, cute maid cafe manga. If that sounds interesting, I recommend this one. And I also read this. This is Bloomin' to You regarding Sayuki Sayuka. This is a spin-off novel from Bloomin' to You. It's a prequel which covers this girl's backstory, and then eventually the series is still being made, and it's covering like her during and after the normal Bloomin' to You storyline. It was pretty good. It was decent. I read the whole thing in only a couple of days, so it's not a hard read or anything. You know, as you can see, there's nothing too crazy here. It's not like the font is tiny and you're gonna need a magnifying glass to read it. But yeah, decent story. I don't even know if I'm gonna get any more of them, because the next book supposedly is like covering the same timeline as the original Bloomin' to You. And I'm not the biggest fan of Bloomin' to You, so I don't really care. But this volume was fine. For this being like the only prequel one, the only prequel volume, you know, I liked it a lot. I'm glad I read it. It's well written. Alright, next up, I have Golden Kamui, Volume 1. I have only read Volume 1 of this, but it's pretty good so far. Basically, it's about a guy who is a veteran who was panning for gold and trying to make some money after the war ended, and he found out a story about some hidden treasure in Japan involving prisoners with tattoos on their backs. And he sets out to try and find that gold. And he makes some friends along the way. It's pretty interesting. Honestly, like, one of the biggest things this reminded me of was Vinland Saga. This is very, very Vinland Saga-esque, to me, at least on Volume 1 so far. And, if you want more content like Vinland Saga, I would recommend this. It feels very, very similar, at least to me. Like I said, I'm only on Volume 1, so if that changes, oops, but, yeah, it was pretty good. Pretty good. Just based off of Volume 1, I probably would give it like an 8 out of 10. But we'll have to see. Oh, and so I read this. I read this Legend of Korra Omnibus. This is the one that... this is Turf Wars, all 3 volumes. This was fine. It was okay. If you don't like Legend of Korra, you're gonna hate this, because it's not even as good as the show, in my opinion. If you're fine with Legend of Korra and you thought it was an okay show, this might be worth reading. Basically, it's kind of weak. It's not as good as the original show, The Legend of Korra. In my opinion, this is a step down in terms of writing and art, obviously, because I mean it's a comic, so it would be very weird for the art in a comic to be better than an actual show. But, again, in terms of just the writing, I think this is a downgrade from the show. Which, it's not, like, bad or anything, you know, I probably would give this, like, a 6 out of 10. Again, it's not below average, it's just somewhat disappointing in comparison to how good some of the Legend of Korra ended up being. But yeah, for those that don't know, this series picks up immediately after the events of Season 1. It literally, frame for frame, picks up where the show ended. So if you want to know the canon continuation and what essentially would be Season 5 of The Legend of Korra, you can pick this up. If you really, really, really want more Legend of Korra, I would recommend it. If you're going in fresh and you've never actually seen The Legend of Korra, don't, because this is essentially Season 5, so just start with the original show. Or just the original Avatar: Last Airbender if you've never seen that, because that's a masterpiece. That's better than Legend of Korra, in my opinion. That Avatar: The Last Airbender is a masterpiece, and Legend of Korra is still pretty good, but it's not as good, in my opinion. Alrighty, so that is everything. I don't think I've missed anything. And if I did forget something, I will just add it next time. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you like this video, remember to like and comment. And subscribing helps out a lot. I plan on continuing doing the same sort of thing. Hopefully I'll be doing another haul video within 2 weeks. We'll have to see. 2020 shenanigans have been holding back a lot of my orders. I have orders which are months old, which haven't arrived yet. It has really been messing with my ability to do haul videos. So hopefully 2021 will be better in that regard, and I'll be able to actually make more haul videos, because when I order stuff, hopefully they arrive on time. But yeah, we'll have to see. You know, that should just be my my catchphrase at this point. We'll have to see. Whatever.